Brian, good morning. How are you?
I'm good, guys. Good to be with you, man. Good morning to you.
It's pretty extraordinary, really, seeing the way that Chicago has reacted to the playoff win over Green Bay. It's been the town itself feels like it's shot out of a cannon. Everybody is overjoyed by it, and now obviously you move on to the divisional round, another game at Soldier Field. This time the Rams, maybe a step up in class, but the Rams coming from 80-degree weather in LA to I think right now it's 16 in Chicago and it feels like it's zero according to the weather reports. It's probably going to be pretty bad on Sunday. Do you buy any of the stuff about warm weather teams struggling in the cold? And you hear people say, oh, well, you got to remember that Matthew Stafford played in Detroit. Matthew Stafford played in a dome in Detroit, and it's different when you're here. Did you notice that when you were playing that the weather impacts everyone?
Yeah, it can. But I did see Matt Stafford in a snow blizzard last year in the divisional round go to Philadelphia, and Stafford played very well. They came within a sack of winning that game. Everybody had their frozen hands, in their chest, trying to keep it warm there at the very end. It didn't look like it phased them, but nobody's going to make any excuses one way or the other. It's going to be played in bitterly cold weather, and the winner moves on to a championship weekend. So it's not an excuse by any means, but it can certainly impact things, especially if it gets windy out there. It's going to affect the kicking game. It's going to affect hearing. All those things can be affected. And they'll have all the heated benches and the blowers on the sideline, and guys have played in this kind of weather. So we'll see how they perform, but it's going to be a factor. Television will tell you that. They're going to show you they're going to show you the hot breath, and they're going to show you probably the ball being blown off the tee if it gets windy in Chicago. All those kind of things. It adds to the intrigue of the game, I think.
So the Bears have Theo Benedict stepping in for Ozzie Trapillo at left tackle. Braxton Jones was activated. But Baldy, you look at the Rams pass rush, and that's one thing that I think would most concern the Bears with Jared Verse and Byron Young coming from the edges. How do they account for that? And do you think the drop-off is significant or minor when you go from Ozzie Trapillo back to Benedict?
Well, I think, there was a reason why Theo Benedict started, early in the year and played a bunch of games. Look, it was a huge jump from University of British Columbia to come to the NFL. I don't know how many guys could do that jump, but he is a good athlete. But look, Jared Verse was the defensive rookie of the year last year for a reason. That guy's power rush is as good as anybody in this business. They've got to account for it. Even if Ozzie was out there, this is an elite player. And Josiah Stewart that comes in for him. They've got eight excellent defensive linemen that they're going to dress on Sunday. They're all good. They all Kobe Turner. Pick a guy. Braden Fisk. They're all very talented. They can affect the game. Now that being said, this Rams defense has given up 31 points in four of the last seven games. 31 points or more in four of the last seven games. If you can block them up front and hold on and just hold them out, however you do it, there's opportunities down the field to complete a lot of passes and big plays.
Brian, I recall you interviewing Montez Sweat in the preseason. I remember it because he seemed really pumped up in that interview. I'm just wondering, how big a role do you see him playing in this game?
Well, he was very, he didn't do much in the first half last week against Green Bay, but the second half he showed up. There's just the one thing about Tez is there's just not many 6'6", 285-pound defensive ends in this league. They're a dinosaur. His length, his size, and he runs in the 4.4s, 4.5s. There's just not many physical people like that on the face of the earth. And so he can affect things. Anytime Matt Stafford gets flushed from the pocket, it's got to move. If 98 gets to chase you, like he's going to get to you, he's going to affect you. So I don't think Montez has never been a great pass rusher, but he's good in that he's still big. You still got to go throw over the top of him. You still got to try to get around him. He's just a pillar, at left end for the Bears. And that's really been his role, whether he's in Washington or Chicago. He's just an anchor, and he can affect things on any given play with his length, athletic ability, his ability to move. So um, he's they wouldn't be where they're at right now without him.
We're joined by Audacy NFL insider Brian Baldinger, and Insider Calls are brought to you by Nationwide. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side. When you look at this game, Baldy, where do the Bears have an advantage?
I think in the passing game they have an advantage. I mean, if you're going after Emmanuel Forbes, if you're going after Kobe Bryant, if you're going after Keller Witherspoon, I don't know which of those guys are all healthy right now, but I think there's advantages there that you can, whether it's a Doomsday or DJ or Loveland or whatever, I think you can attack the corners. I remember week 4 this year, Rams came to Philadelphia. They were up 26-7 at the half, and the Eagles went after these corners unmercifully, and they ended up winning the game. Now, they had to block 2 field goals in the fourth quarter to win, but, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, they went after these corners, and but now, in order to go after them, you got to be able to hold that front off. And so I think there's an advantage there in the passing game for the Bears if they can protect Caleb at least long enough. We know he can move. We know he can avoid, quick pressure. But it does limit the number of targets you get once you leave the pocket. And, if they can block him up for any period of time, I think they have advantages down the field with some of the matchups.
And they obviously have an advantage on special teams. You're talking about one of the games. Heck, they got a punt blocked last week. It feels like the Bears have been getting some good things going their way on special teams. Devin Duvernay had a really nice punt return last week. They've blocked some field goals. They've managed to win some games with their special teams. That might be another area where they could really impact a Rams team that is, when you're top heavy with stars, it's great, but it also kind of impacts your special teams a little bit.
There's no question. I mean, they fired Chase Blackburn, special teams coach, Sean McVay, during the season. Evans had a punt block last week and led to a Carolina go-ahead touchdown in the fourth quarter. It was weird because they overloaded the other side. They didn't even block one of the gunners. They overloaded it with, 6 rushers. They had an advantage there, and they still blocked it on the short side of the field, short side of the formation, and it was a big, huge play in that game. It's been an issue. They've had extra points blocked, field goals blocked, punts blocked. Returners. Seattle game, you had a big return by Rashid Shaheed. So it is an issue. It's a concern. When every time you fire a coach during the season, it's a concern. I don't know that it's gotten fixed after that punt block last week. And so you got to think that there's going to be an opportunity somewhere in the kicking game to get an advantage right now. I always say this before the season starts. You hope that you can win 2 games because of your special teams, but you definitely don't want to lose 2 games because of your special teams. Right. I feel like the Rams have lost games because of their special teams this year.
It sounds like an impossible question to answer, but if you are Dennis Allen, how would you approach trying to limit the damage that Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams can do?
Well, they're playing 3 corners right now, right? So Nahshon Wright looks like he's the starter full-time. They've been switching with Kyler Gordon and Nick McLeod at the nickel. They've been switching at the other with Stevenson and Jalen Johnson. So they're rotating guys in for whatever reason. But I don't know that you can just say, okay, well, Puka, we're going to limit him. I mean, the guy comes up with impossible catches. The guy, you can't cover him, you can't tackle. Devontae Adams has played in this weather. He looks impervious to it. His route running and releases are second to none of his business. You got to account for the tight ends. They've got 4 of them. I don't know if they're all healthy, but Terrence Ferguson, Big Higbee, Allen, Parkinson, they all can contribute. I think they've caught, think I'm right. I think they've caught 18 touchdown passes, the tight ends alone. It's an
Wow.
absurd number. But I don't know that you can just say, okay, well, we're going to put this guy on this guy. Puka Nakuma's been doing this for 2 years in this league. He's an elite player. Um, you just hope that he drops it. You just hope that the weather, maybe makes him crumble in a big spot. But I don't know that you could just go in there saying, because the one thing about Stafford is the way that he trusts these receivers, Devontae down in the red zone inside the 5, his trust for him, his trust for Puka, he throws these guys open before they ever even come out of their breaks, and he's already released the ball. So you just have to hope that you can tackle the catch on either one of these guys right now.
Brian, we had a conversation earlier in the show. We're talking about the 8 quarterbacks remaining and their legacy and how it would be impacted. Obviously, Matthew Stafford very well could be named the MVP of the league. He had that kind of year. He's got this index finger issue, which they say is not a problem at all, and yet he's got this index finger issue. I'm sure they'll take care of all that stuff. Just wondering, when you look at these quarterbacks left, where does Caleb fit in? How quickly has his growth sort of already started to show in the playoffs, and what happens with him moving forward?
Well, I mean, he's been in the playoffs one time. He's got one win. And, whether it's him or the team or the coach, whatever. I mean, these quarterbacks all get measured by what they do in the postseason. It never goes away. Peyton Manning was never Peyton Manning until he started winning in the postseason. It's always going to be that way. But we've got Bo Nix, Drake May, and Caleb Williams in the postseason. And so, you got 3 second-year quarterbacks here. They're all trying to make a name for themselves. Stafford is trying to do it right now in trying to cement his legacy. He's got a Super Bowl win. He's got a bunch of, playoff wins right now. This could go a long ways to get to an NFC Championship game right now. Sam Darnold's trying to get rid of a legacy that, can't win big games. It's a turnover machine. He's trying to do that. Brock Purdy's been paid to be an elite franchise paid quarterback. Can he take a team that is beat up and losing stars week by week? Can he get his team to a championship game? They're all trying to. C.J. Stroud has won playoff games in each of his first 3 years. There's not many guys that have ever done that. He's riding the coattails of the league's best defense. All these guys are trying to make a name for themselves. But the one thing I'll say is, we're here talking about a divisional playoff round weekend, and it's fun to talk about this, and Chicago's lit up. But this league is only as good as its quarterbacks. When we get great quarterback play, we get great games. When we get great young quarterbacks, we get excited. You're excited in Chicago, in New England. Can he, replace Tom Brady? We're not saying that, but can they, here they are back in the playoffs. Bo Nix with Sean Payton. We need great young quarterbacks in this league. We're seeing Aaron Rodgers step aside. We're seeing, probably Flacco step aside this year. But we need the next wave of young quarterbacks to come in and be great. And maybe we get a chance to see that on display this weekend.
Brian, the Bears are where they are because they believe in Ben Johnson and have since day one. How much do you believe in the Bears Sunday?
I believe in them. I thought it was a really cool thing in a post game. Obviously, we can debate Ben Johnson, with Matt LaFleur saying some things in the locker room, whatever. It's an emotional game. I get it, all of it. But I thought it was pretty cool when Caleb got the game ball, and then he took his game ball and gave it to his coach. I mean, gosh, Ben Johnson's been unreal. I mean, I'm just trying to count how many different players lined up in the backfield for Ben Johnson last weekend. It's at least 10 different guys lined up back there. You don't know what he's going to do. It's creative beyond measure. It's great. I mean, it's great seeing what he's doing right now.
I think it was Alex Smith, the old quarterback, who said that he sees the Rams putting 50 up against the Bears about how bad their defense is. I'm not, the Bears have given up 50 before in a game. I'm not saying it can't happen, but it seems like Dennis Allen kind of has a pretty good feel for what he's doing, and he changed the way they played and the way things were going at halftime of that game.
Yeah. No, he adjusted. He started bringing, pressure off the corner. Kyler Gordon started coming. Jaquan Brisker came. They got 2 intentional grounding calls, by Jordan Love there that really kind of fueled. It's hard to overcome intentional grounding in this league. You lose the down and the yards. So, those were huge plays in the third quarter that allowed the Bears to kind of start chipping away at that lead. And so, Matt, look, Alex Smith can say whatever he wants to say. I don't care. I know this. I know that there was a play after the Bears took the lead where I thought Jordan Love had a chance to get the ball to Christian Watson down the field, and I thought so too. And I posted it. Next thing I know, they're I've got guys on the Bears defense, specifically the interception leader in this league, Kevin Byard, coming back to me saying, Baldy, I was baiting him the whole way. I was hoping he was going to throw it. I was going to go take it. Like, they led the league in takeaways. You can say whatever you want about this defense. I'll take a team that leads the league in takeaways, in the postseason. I like their chances to take it away. They've got a knack for it. Tip balls in the passing lanes. Kevin Byers, for the second time in his career, has led the league in interceptions. I like a team that takes the ball away.